I don't quite remember how many deviled egg videos I've done, but this is another in the continuing series of deviled egg videos. So this is going to be 3 more custom deviled eggs. So the recipe we're going to be using, it goes back to my mom's deviled eggs. Now I did a video on that quite a while back. I'll put a link in the video description and up here for you to check out. If you want to really dive into the super basics of how to do it, that's the one. This we're going to move on to getting some different flavors in there. So we're starting with the yolks from 6 eggs. This would turn out 12 deviled eggs. You know, you have the eggs and you have 12 eggs. Before we add any other ingredients, I want to go ahead and sort of break these down a bit. I like to use a fork. Now there are 1,000 ways to make deviled eggs. And I can assure you, after doing several deviled egg videos, including my mom's deviled egg video, which has had quite a number of views, there are a lot of comments that say, "You're doing it wrong," or "I only do it this way." You know what? If you have a recipe you like to make your deviled egg base filling, go with it. There's a lot of ways to make deviled eggs. This is just mine. Some people like it really creamy. They'll use a hand mixer. I don't necessarily like it that creamy. To this, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. Now I'm using mayonnaise. If you prefer Miracle Whip, use Miracle Whip, whatever you like, but I like mayonnaise. Now this mayonnaise is Best Foods mayonnaise, which I believe in the eastern part of the country is Hellmann's. They're basically the same thing. Really just use what you like. To this, we're going to add a teaspoon of yellow mustard. You could use brown mustard, any mustard you want. We use yellow mustard. Finally, a teaspoon of white vinegar. Now I know some people will use pickle juice instead of the vinegar. Go ahead and do that if you want. I actually tried that and it works fine. So now we're just going to mix this all together. So I'm going to take that fork and smash a bit in case there's any huge chunks that slipped through. So now we're going to roughly divide this into 3 equal amounts because we're going to be making 3 different custom deviled eggs today. I'm just going to kind of roughly eyeball this. And our last third we're just going to leave in this bowl. So one of the fillings we're going to be making is what I like to call a tapenade deviled egg. We're going to take some Kalamata olives and we're going to dice these up. So we're just going to start working these down into small pieces. If you already have like a tapenade mixture in your refrigerator or something that you bought commercially, go ahead and use that. But I like fresh Kalamata olives. Go ahead, make fun of my non-existent knife skills. And we're going to take our Kalamata olives, put them in our mixture. And we're just going to mix these up. All right, we're going to go ahead and fill our tapenade eggs. We're going to do 3 of them today. Get a little bit more on this guy. Put a piece of sliced Kalamata olive on top. Now, you'll notice I'm using a spoon. One of the comments I got so many times on previous videos is that often I will use like a little Ziploc bag as a piping bag and cut off one corner. I'm going to use that on one of these eggs, so if you don't like seeing that, avert your eyes. But you can use a spoon, you can use whatever you want. Another Kalamata olive slice. And our final egg here. This one's going to be really full. Shortchanged the other 2. And right on top. All right, these 3 are ready. Let's move on to our next egg. Now this next custom egg is really one that you can customize any way you want using a salad dressing. I'm going to be making a honey mustard deviled egg out of this mixture by using some Ken's Steakhouse honey mustard dressing. You could use ranch dressing, you could use just about anything you want. The key is not to get too much liquid in here because you don't want to thin it out too much. So we're going to use maybe a teaspoon or 2 of the honey mustard dressing. And we're just going to mix this in. In this one, we're really just going to get the flavor of that honey mustard. We're not adding any texture or anything. You can already see how this one's more creamy with the addition of that liquid. If you wanted it less creamy, you could actually dial back the mustard in this one and just use the honey mustard. All right, let's go ahead and fill these eggs. Try not to shortchange one of them this time. Now to top these three, we're just gonna do a pinch of paprika, something pretty traditional. All right, let's move on to our final egg, which is gonna be my favorite, I can tell. So our final custom deviled egg is going to be a barbecue potato chip deviled egg. Now you could actually use any sort of potato chip you like in this. You could use salt and vinegar, sour cream and onion, you could use Doritos, anything like that. The key is to kind of really get it ground down into almost a powder. So we're gonna take some barbecue potato chips in this little Ziploc bag here, rolling pin, we're gonna crush them. We're gonna take these pulverized barbecue potato chips, dump them out onto a little plate. And you can see there's still some chunks in here, but that's okay. We're gonna take our egg halves, press them down into there. Because what you want is you want to get some of that crunchiness on the outside. We're also going to sprinkle some on the inside. And now just take some, sprinkle a little bit on the inside. Now let's fill these eggs. Now I did mention that I am going to use a little Ziploc bag as a piping bag for one of them, and this is the egg, because I want to try not to mess up that little bit of barbecue potato chips that are stuck around the outside. So I've just got my little Ziploc bag here filled with that filling we made. And I'm just gonna snip off a little bit of this corner, just like that. Take one of our eggs, fill it, just like that. Now we wanna give these a little bit more personality besides just the little bit of barbecue potato chip on the outside. So we're gonna shove a barbecue potato chip in the top, kind of like a shark fin. All right, these are looking good. We're gonna get them with the other ones and then we're gonna have a taste. So here are our finished, customized deviled eggs. We have our tapenade deviled egg, our honey mustard deviled egg, and our barbecue potato chip deviled egg. Now there's enough filling to do 12 deviled eggs here. As you can see, I only did 9. I always like to save a few in case something happens with one of them as you're filming with it, so we get 9 today. And when you've got a platter full of deviled eggs sitting in front of you, it's time to taste. So I'm gonna start with the honey mustard, the one with the paprika on top. Let's see. That's good, it's honey mustard. But you know what? If you wanted to, you could go more of that dressing in here. If I did, I think I would dial back a little bit of the mayonnaise, maybe a tablespoon of the mayonnaise, and replace that with honey mustard dressing. Because this is really good, but it could use more honey mustard. At least I like more honey mustard. Now one of the tapenade deviled eggs. I love olives. I especially love Kalamata olives, so I think I'm really gonna like this one. That is really good. If you're a fan of tapenade or just Kalamata olives and deviled eggs, I'd highly recommend that you give one of these a shot. Finally, our barbecue potato chip deviled egg with a little shark fin of barbecue potato chip on top. I'm just gonna try and go for the whole thing here. Let's see. The thing I really like about that, other than just the barbecue potato chip flavor, because I like barbecue potato chips, is the texture, the crunch you get on the rim, but also down there at the bottom where we filled with a little bit of those barbecue potato chips. And I gotta say, all of these, total success. So if you need to make some deviled eggs for a party, or you just love deviled eggs and you wanna make some more of them, here's another way you can mix it up. By adding different flavors, different textures. Deviled eggs are one of those things you can customize any way you want. I think the tapenade one is my favorite.